Hello, students. We are going through the text of the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare, which, as you know, is prescribed for the students of BA Part 2, English Literature, Paper 1. We are at Act 4, Scene 3. In the last session, we left off at line number 75, where Malcolm is falsely misleading Macbeth to believe that he is a lecherous man, Malcolm himself, talking about himself, and that he has an insatiable sexual appetite, so that if he returns to Scotland, not even old women will be spared by him. He would want to have sexual relations with all of them. Hearing this, Macbeth says, we'll take it from here, boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. Boundless means endless, without limit. Intemperance means greed. That is, greed without any limit and lust in a man's nature is a kind of tyranny. It had been the untimely emptying of the happy throne. It has caused the downfall of many kings. It has been the reason for the untimely downfall of many kings and fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. But don't be afraid to take the crown that belongs to you. You are in other words, you are the rightful heir to the throne. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty. That is, if you wish, you can find a way to satisfy your desires in secret. Secretly, you can do whatever you want. And convey means to satisfy, and your pleasures means your desires. In a spacious plenty, secretly or easily, you can have as many affairs as you like, and yet seem cold. But outwardly, you can seem cold. Cold here means virtuous, and yet you can appear to be virtuous. The time you may so hoodwink. That is, you can cheat or deceive. You can give the wrong impression to the outside world. That is, you are a cold man. But inwardly, secretly, you can have as many affairs as you like. We have willing dames enough. That is, there are more than enough willing women going around in Scotland, which can be made available for you. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves. In other words, your lust cannot possibly be so strong that you would use up all the women who are willing to give themselves to the king once they find out that he wants them. Surely you are not so greedy that you will behave like a vulture. Vulture, you know, is that जिसको हम हिंदी में गिद्ध कहते हैं, जो नोच नोच के खाता है, and devour means to eat up. So surely you are not so hungry or greedy that you will use all the women who are available, finding it so inclined. If you want, you can have as many women as you like. What Macbeth means to say is that we have plenty of women who are ready to give themselves to please the king. And so you will not lack in finding women. Malcolm answers, with this there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands. That is, my weaknesses don't stop here only. Along with this, there grows in my most ill composed affection a stanchless avarice. Stanchless means incredible, unbelievable, and avarice means greedy. In other words, along with being full of lust, I am also incredibly greedy. That were I king, if I was to become king, if I become king, I would steal the nobles' lands. I should cut off the nobles for their lands. Cut off means rob them, confiscate. I will take away their lands for my own use, and desire his jewels and this other's house, taking jewels from one guy and houses from another. That is, I will steal somebody's land, or rather take away somebody's land. I will steal somebody's jewelry, and I will forcefully occupy another man's house. And my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more. The more I had, the greedier I would grow. And that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal. So much so that until I would invent false quarrels with my good and loyal subjects. The more I have will increase my hunger or greed for more, so that I will invent false quarrels against even those men or people who are good and loyal, against my good and loyal subjects. And by doing this, destroying them for wealth, I will be destroying them so that I can get my hands on their wealth. MACBETH says, this avarice, this greed sticks deeper means it is worse, grows with more pernicious root. Pernicious means really bad or damaging. The greed you are talking about is worse than lust, because you won't outgrow it. More pernicious root than summer seeming lust. See, lust is temporary. One has a desire for physical satisfaction or sex, and once the desire is fulfilled, then you don't want anything more. But greed is something which continuously grows, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. The sword of our slain kings means it has been the reason for the downfall of many our kings who were killed. Greed has been the downfall of many kings. Yet do not fear, but don't be afraid. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will. Scotland has enough treasures. Foisons means treasures to satisfy you out of your own royal coffers, to fill up your will of your mere own. That is, your personal coffers are full of so much of treasure that all your greed will easily be satisfied. All these are portable with other graces weighed. In other words, these bad qualities, portable means are bearable when balanced against your good sides or against your good graces or good qualities. So Malcolm protests. He says, but I have none. I don't have any good qualities. The king becoming graces. I lack the graces that suit a king. I don't have a trace of the qualities a king needs. And what are they? As justice, verity, temperance, stableness. We'll take meanings of each. Justice is understandable. Verity means truth or honesty. Temperance, moderation. Stableness, in other words, stability. Bounty. Bounty means generosity. Perseverance. Perseverance means stoically and solidly continuing with whatever needs to be done. Mercy, lowliness. Lowliness means humbleness. Devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. Fortitude means bravery and tolerance. A mixture of bravery and tolerance. These are the qualities that a king should have. I have no relish of them, but I do not have a trace of the qualities that a king needs. I have no relish of them means I do not enjoy them. I lack these qualities. Instead, but abound. But abound means I am full of, means I overflow. I overflow in the division of each several crime. I overflow with every variation of all the different vices. Crime here means vices. In other words, every variation of different vices is invested in me, acting it many ways. Of all the different vices which take different forms. Nay, no, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell. If I had the power, then what would I do? I would take world peace, the sweet milk of concord means peace and harmony. I would take the peace and harmony of the world, uproot the universal peace, confound all unity on earth. And confound means destroy. I would destroy all unity on this earth. I would disunite or cause a rift among everybody on this earth. MACBETH is so disheartened. He's so unhappy. You can almost feel him covering his face with his hands. Oh, Scotland, Scotland. If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken. If someone like me is fit to be king, then let me know. I really am exactly as I have described myself to you. MACBETH is furious. Fit to govern? No, not to live. You are not fit to be alive on this earth. O nation miserable, O unhappy country, O unhappy homeland, O miserable nation, which is with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptered. Already it is ruled by a usurping murderous tyrant. Untitled tyrant means usurping. Usurping means somebody who has taken away by force. Someone who has taken something that does not belong to him by force. Bloody sceptered. That is, he is murderous. Bloody sceptered. He is a murderous man. When shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? O Scotland, when will happy times come again to you? You can almost feel MACBETH weeping in anguish for what has happened to his country. Since that the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdictions, stands accursed. That is, the man who has the legal right to the throne. Since that the truest issue of thy throne, that is, that man who has the legal right to be the king of Scotland, by his own interdictions, by his own admission, or by his own confession, stands accursed. He is a cursed man and does blaspheme his breed. In other words, and he brings disgrace to the royal family. Since by his own admission, the child or the rightful heir to the throne has brought disgrace to the family, when will you see better days? Thy royal father, and then he reminds Malcolm about Duncan. Thy royal father, that is Duncan, was a most sainted king. Duncan was a virtuous king. Sainted king means he was a virtuous king. The queen that bore thee, that is your mother who gave birth to you. That bore thee means who gave birth to you. Died every day she lived. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet. That is, she spent more of her time in prayer. Your mother spent more time on her knees in prayer than she did standing up. And she lived died every day she lived, and she lived a life of absolute piety. She prayed as if it was her last day of her life. Fare thee well. There's total dejection, poor man. These evils thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. In other words, the evils that you have described inside yourself, they are the reasons which have driven me out of Scotland forever. That is why I left that country, because these evils are present in Macbeth also, perhaps. Have banished me from Scotland means driven me out of Scotland. O my breast means O my heart, thy hope ends here. That is, your hope is dead. Now Malcolm is fully convinced that Macbeth came here with good intentions. So he reassures him. And he says, Macbeth, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples. That is, Macbeth, this passionate outburst of yours, which proves your integrity. Child of integrity means which proves that you are speaking the truth. It has from, which are a result of your integrity, hath from my soul wiped. Wiped means removed the black scruples. Black scruples means the doubts. Reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Meaning, they have convinced me that you have come with honorable intentions to meet me, to thy good truth and honor. And then, devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains. Now he is explaining. Malcolm is explaining why he tried to deceive Macbeth. Because devilish Macbeth in the past has, by many of these trains, means tricks, that devil Macbeth has tried many times to trick me, hath sought to win me, has tried to lure me into his power, and modest wisdom. Modest wisdom means prudence. And prudence, wisdom, plucks me, means prevents me or stops me from over-credulous haste, from easily believing. In other words, Macbeth has made me wary of everybody because he has tried many times to lure me back to Scotland. And modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. So, I am very careful. Now I don't easily believe what people say. But then he assures Macbeth, but God above deal between thee and me. In other words, God is my witness. For even now I put myself to thy direction. That is, God is my witness. I will let myself be guided by you. Now, why is Malcolm saying this? Macbeth is much older in age to Malcolm. Malcolm is basically very young. Macbeth, if you remember, he's married. He has a small child. So there must be a gap of many years between them. So Malcolm is ready to put himself under the guidance of Macbeth, and he says, I will let myself be guided by you. I put myself to that direction and unspeak mine own detraction. And whatever I said, whatever confessions I made, I take back all those confessions because they are not true. Here, abjure meaning reject or take back the taints and blames I laid upon myself, all the flaws, all the bad things that I said about myself, I take them back. Why? For strangers to my nature. Because none of these flaws are really part of my nature. I am not what I said I was. They are not my character. For strangers to my nature means they are not a part of my character. I am yet unknown to woman. In other words, I am still a virgin. I have never had sex with any woman. Scarcely have coveted what was mine own. I have never wanted, coveted meaning wanted. I have never told a lie. I have never wanted anything that was not my own. What was mine own? At no time broke my faith. I have never told a lie. I've always been honest. Would not betray the devil to his fellow. I would not betray even the devil to his fellow, means to another devil, and delight no less in truth than life. For me, truth is as important as my life. My false speaking, my false speaking was this upon myself. That is, the lies I told about my character are actually the first false words I have ever spoken. I have never ever told a lie before. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. The person who I really am, I am truly means the person who I really am is ready to serve you and our poor country. Whither indeed, before thy here approach, old Seward with 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Indeed, before you arrived here, old Seward, this is the King of England, with 10,000 soldiers already prepared for battle. Already at a point means all are ready for battle, was making his way here. Is on his way here, was setting forth. Now we will together. That is, now we will fight Macbeth together. And the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. And may the chances of our success be as great as the justice of our cause. Now, hearing Malcolm say this, poor Macbeth is totally dazed. He's confused. He doesn't know what to believe. So he's absolutely silent. He doesn't utter a single word. So Malcolm asks, "Why are you silent? Why don't you say something?" Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, it is hard to reconcile. So Macbeth says that Malcolm, it is hard to make sense of such different stories. Such welcome means Malcolm's good qualities, and unwelcome, his vices. At once, it is hard to reconcile. That is, it is difficult to match the two stories. I'm confused. I don't know what to believe. Just then, enter a doctor. Malcolm, well, more anon. Now, Malcolm does not want to say anything in the presence of a third person. He's, of course, assured about Macbeth, but the doctor is an unknown entity. So he says, "We will speak more soon." And to the doctor, "Comes the king forth, I pray you? Is King Edward coming out?" Aye, sir. Yes, sir. There are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Crew means a crowd. Wretched souls means of sick people. A crowd of sick people is waiting for him to heal them. Now, King Edward of England was known to cure people of various illnesses. And every day, a crowd of people awaited his arrival. Their malady convinces the great assay of art. Malady means illness. Convinces means amazes. Their sickness or illness amazes the most advanced techniques of modern medicine. The great assay of art means the advanced techniques of modern medicine. But at his touch, as soon as he touches them, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand, they presently amend. But when he touches them, they heal immediately because of the power granted to him by heaven. Heaven means by God. And they presently means they at once, they are amend means they are cured. They get well soon. I thank you, doctor. And the doctor leaves exit. Okay, with this we'll stop here and continue in the next session. Thank you.